Which now gives me an opportunity to introduce our very next guest. But just before we say hello to Gary, as he loads in and logs up, for those who have logged in a little late, you might realize I am not Nat. What am I doing here? Why am I here? Why have they chosen me to sit here and replace the lovely Natalie? It's because, as some of you may know, and many of you may not, I am the chair of the Outreach and Communications Committee for the BPCA, and so it kind of fits naturally and flows. I would do this for World Pest Day, but I'm sure a lot of you realise that the BPCA is run by committees, and these committees are accessible and open to all. And we have a lot of them out there. So of course we have the Outreach and Communications, we have Professional Standards, we have the newly formed Technical Committee, as well as the EDI Committee, and some others as well, which I will have forgotten, and servicing. I know servicing is now down technical. I'm sure someone will remind me that I've missed their committee off. My point being, though, is if you, as members of the British Pest Control Association, wish to be involved with the committees which help run and steer and direct the British Pest Control Association, then please get in touch, find a committee that suits you, and get involved, have your say, become part of the association, or at the very least, learn who's on the committee so you can feed back into them your thoughts and your desires and wants, or even just have a bit of a shout. There we go. Thank you very much, BPCA staff team behind the scenes, preempting my every move there. So excellent stuff. So enough of that, enough about me and why I'm here. I think we need to talk to the esteemed. There we go. How are you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you, Alex.
All good. Are you ready to give your presentation?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, without further ado then, dazzle us, please, and I will fade into the background. I'll see you in a little while.
See you in a while. Thank you, Alex. So good morning, everybody. I wanted to take a little bit of a different twist on the presentation for this morning. I know many of you would have seen me do presentations at some of the industry events that we have, but I wanted to do some kind of focus, with it being World Pest Day, on the people within the pest control industry as well, as well as talking about the technology, but the people that use the technology and how we use it at the moment and how we may use it in the future. I'm not too sure who came up with the name Cybertechs. It wasn't me. I think it could have been perhaps Scott or Lauren from the BPCA, but when they suggested it, I thought, yeah, that's probably catchy enough. I quite like that. But it reminded me that for future World Pest Days, that for the success of our industry, that it's the people that are key to everything that we do. And I started thinking about the people that are in the industry and who come into it. And very often I did the same that I've heard other people say, is that we kind of stumble into it and then we find it impossible to leave. We get hooked on it. But I thought there's a lot of really smart young people coming through the industry, and we'd like to. They tend to maybe not see it as an option for a career, and it's a shame, really, because I think we perhaps miss an opportunity to have these really smart, driven, enthusiastic people coming into the industry. And I think with focusing now on digital, and of course Syngenta have got a system out there now that many of you would have heard of and would have seen. I thought this was a great opportunity just to sort of like focus a little bit on the people, a little bit on the data that digital systems bring, and the innovation, and just kind of just take a little bit of a light-hearted twist, if you like, but a serious. It's got a serious point to it as to how we can try and capture these smart professional individuals and get them working in our industry, particularly in the service part of the industry as well. So I'm not too sure if this is definitive of the generations, millennials, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, but I think it's not too far off. I think it's quite a good guide, actually. And so it just gives that indication of if you look at sort of like the working age of individuals, we've got millennials and Gen Z, of course, that probably everything that they've done for in their lives for their entire lives kind of has been on in the hand, hence the image there of the smartphone. And it makes me think as well that we're moving that way with our industry now, with servicing, and I think a lot of young professional people demand to have access to data, and see how use of that data can benefit us all. So I've taken a few stats here from the Harvard Business School, and I thought it was quite interesting when I was putting these slides together to see some of the there's 4 facts here from it, some 4 stats from it, but I thought it was quite interesting. I thought it was worth including. So the boomer generation is making way, apparently. Of course, the boomer generation being the generation from the mid-late 40s, immediately after the war, up until the early 60s. And Harvard Business School say that the Generation X and the millennials are poised to lead the way in organizations and governments. And I thought it's very relevant to us as an industry, because if that's the case, this generation that are used to smart technology and the Internet of Things are going to be leading the organizations that we provide services to. And if it's in governments as well, there's been a lot of talk recently and a lot in the news about the use of glue boards and the influence that ministers and governments have on what is we've got available to us for our industry and what we haven't. So I think it was, I think that this is very relevant that, these people that become the influences in our industry and the customers of our industry are the same people that could be leading the service of pest control as well. I thought this was a nice fact as well. A nice statistic was that hybrid work will evolve, and in-person work days no longer mean a trip to the office or to site. And I thought this was quite interesting, because I do this myself regularly, as some of you will know. My work takes me the length and breadth of the UK and overseas, of course, as well. And there's many times when some of the people that I'm meeting, whether it's business managers, asset managers, pest control staff, and facility managers, are responsible for a wide area as well. And sometimes it is more convenient for us to meet kind of in a central spot, meeting midway. So that might be a coffee shop, or it might be a restaurant or somewhere like that. So the way that we work can evolve in this hybrid working. If we're talking about looking at data and maybe opening our laptops and opening portals and looking at the data and the stats that are within these portals, we don't necessarily need to visit an office. So we can meet in a central place, which is really helpful and really useful. So the way that we actually work is changing as well, and it's very relevant to the pest control industry. And this is something I'd not heard of until I started to do some research for the presentation. Was the portfolio life. So I hadn't heard of this before, but the emergence of the portfolio life, which I thought was really interesting. But I think it's really interesting that this distribution of time, talent across work and family, health, community, hobbies and rest time is really relevant to everybody, but particularly for us as professional pest controllers. We have busy lives. Many of the people that work on the service side, the pest professionals on the service side of the industry, maybe always working at 95% capacity, and then we get these peaks of in throughout the year, seasonal peaks, where we really could be working from 6 in the morning till 7, 8, 9 at night. So I think having this ability to work, thinking about the working, the hybrid working, maybe just having the ability to lose some of that travel time for those physical visits could benefit us across other parts of our life as well. Whether that's home life, family life, and rest life as well. So I think it's really interesting to keep that in mind. And yeah, the creative thinking. I think this was something that came from, according to the Future of Jobs, that this demand of analytical and creative thinking will increase up to 2027. So 3 and 4 businesses say that the demand for this will increase. So again, I think these are interesting stats. As we go through the presentation over the next 20-25 minutes or so, I think you'll see that this is relevant to us as a business and to the people that we'd like to attract into the professional pest control industry. So just thinking a little bit about how the industry is changing. It's changing now, and it's going to change in the future. Where's the data and the analytics? And I think this was quite interesting. That I think for many people, this is this is my own research and some of my own observations of people that I talk to on a daily basis, is that I think there is a perception that our industry in many ways hasn't modernized. And I think just thinking about the way that we do the work, it is a very manual and labor intensive industry at times. And I think the perception of anybody who's thinking of a career move might think that it's not really for them. It's not the sort of career move that they would contemplate and see as a career move. And of course, then we think about what it is that we do, as we're thinking about a service visit that a professional pest technician might do. It's very assumption driven as well. So we visit a site and we check our control points or our bait stations, whatever it is that we're looking at, and we make an assumption on what's happened since the previous visit and what our course of action will be, or corrective action will be. And of course, there'll always be some assumption. That all comes from our experience and our training and us as professionals. But I think that there's room for there to be data integrated and analytics integrated into this that helps us drive that decision making, that we can base some of it on the data and the analytics and not all on assumptions. And maybe this is one thing that's holding back some of these smart, intelligent young professionals from coming into our industry. There's kind of a perception that it isn't for them. And the sad thing is they may go and choose a different career. And it's an open question really, but is there a possibility that we're missing out on some of these some of the skills of some of these smart people? And I think we're at a point now, a tipping point in time where we can inspire and give a vision to these generations of people, that with the integration of the Internet of Things and technology, there's consider it as a career. It has changed, and we are evolving, and it might be a lot more interesting than you actually perceive it to be. So I was thinking about putting smart tools in the hands of the smart generations, and kind of what are these smart tools that we're talking about? Well, connected technologies, of course. We think about Syngenta's Secure Choice. That's a sensor based. It's a sensor system that's cloud based, so everything's connected via the cloud, and we can then look at in real time what our sensors are doing from anywhere on the planet really. So we're using connected technologies, say the smart sensors and the smart data. The data being key to everything really. That's the purpose of what we're trying to achieve, is the data to give us some additional knowledge that we don't have without it. So the hardware does one thing, the data tells us something else. But of course, the data is nothing without that analysis. So we analyze the data, and it gives us a platform then to decision make based on or some, at least some of our decision making is based on that data. And like I said about previous a few moments ago, is that without it, it's a lot of it is assumption driven. You know, we're still using our skills and our knowledge and our training as pest professionals, but are we missing something without having data? You know, some of that data, for example, is date and timestamps of when activity was detected by these connected systems, and knowing that, just that little bit of information there of knowing that precisely the moment that this activity was happening in a particular area, that just gives us that little bit more insight, that additional edge that allows us to understand the behaviour of the rodents and act accordingly. So again, it's this using the smart technicians using this data to you know, hopefully make better decisions on what corrective actions need to be taken, and how to better understand the behaviour of the rodents for controlling them now and preventing them in the future as well. This, of course, then leads to, well, other roles and jobs within our industry that didn't exist previously. Maybe they don't exist at the moment. I just listed a few here because I thought it was quite interesting to think, well, you know, what were those roles for these new technicians, these Cybertechs? What could they be? Well, we think about the data, and of course, I mentioned a moment ago that, you know, we need to analyze the data, and then that helps us with decision making. So, you know, the more data we collect, the more it needs to be analyzed. So maybe there's roles there to be created or are already starting to be created that could be of interest to people to think, yeah, I'm interested in that, analyzing the data, decision making, and planning on what our next steps will be in the battle against these pests. Surveyors' roles, absolutely, these will definitely evolve. You know, my background for the past 20 years prior to joining Syngenta, of course, was what I specialised in. I went into sales and surveying, and I do this on a regular basis now, on a weekly basis. Still surveying with professional pest controllers and their customers, surveying sites, but with it in mind of installing connected systems, secure choice in particular, and it changes. You know, one of the obvious things is that we have to consider as a surveyor is the connectivity. Where do we put our sensors? Where do we plug in our hubs so that everything connects together and talks to each other and pushes everything out to the cloud? So the surveyor's roles, in many ways, we're still doing the same, using the same skills and knowledge that would be used using traditional methods, but with some added considerations in there as well. So, you know, the surveyor's roles will certainly have to evolve. And maybe specialist installations. You know, there is a skill and there is an art to putting these systems in so that we get the very, very best of them. And, you know, we already have specialist installation roles in the industry right now and have done for years. Think about the proofing and the remedial work. That can often be done, particularly with medium-sized and larger-sized companies where they might have an installations team, bird work, you know, a very skilled, needs a skill set to get those installations put in. So is there scope now for us to open up new installation roles specifically for digital installations? And training roles as well. You know, this is really important that the people that understand and have been working with the technology can pass that information on through the rest of the business and to the peers. And potentially training roles can also be created as well for passing on this knowledge and hopefully encouraging people to have that vision that they want to join our industry as well. But I think it's interesting to note that, you know, we're talking about the future of pest management, but it is here right now. And just a few facts here that was quite interesting that I wanted to share with everybody was that with we launched Secure Choice in the UK and in the Middle East already last year, and so we've got sites now that are rolling out very regularly, with further rollout across Europe for 24 and beyond. So it's not something that's coming. It's here. It's going to grow and it's going to develop and it's going to evolve for sure. But it's here now. It's right here now. And I was thinking about how do you measure do we say how many systems we've got installed, or how many sensors or how many smart traps are installed across a certain country or a certain region or area? And I thought, well, actually, we can sort of like go a little bit deeper than that. We can dig down a bit more, and we can refer to a metric as a sensing hour. So if you think about one sensor working for 1 hour, then that would be 1 sensing hour. So that one sensor in the course of a day has 24 sensing hours. And I've worked out in the last 13 months since I joined Syngenta, with the systems that we've installed, and then we've added sensors to existing installations. We've actually accumulated to date 2.35 million secure choice sensing hours. And I thought, wow, that's a lot of data. So when we think to the previous slide, I was thinking about roles, and you think, well, do we really need a role that's created for analyzing the data? Is there that much of it? Yeah, I mean, for sure. And this is just one system that's only been launched officially for 7 or 8 months or so. But when you start to upscale that, and we get more and more installations across more countries, our forecast is to exceed, by the end of 2025, 72 million sensing hours. It's quite easy to look at that and see, wow, yeah, that's a lot of data that needs to be looked at, that needs to be interrogated, and somebody then use that data, what it's telling us, to then implement corrective actions and a course of action, and hopefully prevent infestation in the future. So yes, a lot of data, and somebody needs to do something with it. So I just thought that was a nice stat to have a look at. Really, it surprised me when I worked out currently what how much data we're collecting on a daily basis and an annual basis. It also gets asked the question, well, digital is fine, but it's very specific, and it's for very targeted, maybe for the food industry or maybe for the pharmaceutical industry, and it's not the case really. Of course, that's true with installations and budgets for the food industry, and pharmaceuticals might lend itself better to digital, but we've got installations across many different businesses and agriculture, schools, retail, warehousing. You can fit digital to almost anywhere really. It's got a lot of applications and a lot of benefits as well when you integrate it with the service level agreements that are already in place. Who uses it? Again, the perception is, well, there's not much scope for working with digital and having a digital career in pest control. Maybe just 1 or 2 of the big companies, and it's not the case. We ourselves work with small independent single person operations, all the way up to working with some of the bigger organizations as well. And there's this continual development of the hardware and the software to develop the systems, and as that development grows and grows, then of course the opportunities grow and grow, and those opportunities of course creating new roles for people to come and join our industry. So I just wanted to share this short video. It's only 2 minutes. It gives a nice overview really of what Secure Choice does as a system. But it might be specific to Syngenta Secure Choice, but of course it's if you think about the wider business of digital pest control and connected systems, I think it's just a nice example of how this integrates with service level agreements. So we'll just play through this. It's like I say, it's only a couple of minutes, but I think it just gives a nice overview for anybody who's not familiar with digital and connected systems.
rodent detection should be smart. That's why Syngenta created the Secure Choice Remote Detection System. A plug-and-play, cutting-edge solution that enables cost-effective rodent monitoring 24 hours a day, alerting you only when there is rodent activity and helping you to deliver targeted rodent control in any facility. The Secure Choice Hub is the heart of the system, featuring best-in-class connectivity for accurate and reliable rodent detection without relying on corporate networks. When switched on, the hub automatically establishes a wireless connection with the sensors and the internet. The hub can receive activity information from hundreds of sensors and is scalable to customer accounts of any size. Secure Choice sensors can be fitted to any existing rodent trap or bait station. The use of dual sensing technology ensures accurate detection and avoids unnecessary site visits. Once rodent activity is detected, alert notifications are sent directly to you in real time and can also be viewed in the dashboard. The Secure Choice dashboard places monitoring data right at your fingertips with easy access from computers and mobile devices. The intuitive UI makes data easy to interpret and act upon, with advanced reporting features such as heat mapping and automatic report generation for audits and client meetings. The Secure Choice Remote Detection System helps you to deliver cost-effective and data-driven rodent control, creating value for both you and your customers. Elevate your rodent control programs with the world's smartest rodent detection technology. Secure Choice Remote Detection from Syngenta. The future of rodent control is here. For life uninterrupted.
So hopefully that kind of ties in with everything that the slides that went before it to kind of give that just give that overview of where digital and connected systems fit in with our industry, and it looks very futuristic. I think the thing I like about that video there, and it fits with the Cybertech theme, is that trying to inspire young people to think, yeah, this is the industry that I can see a career for me, and I'm going to make inquiries into it, and I think that demonstrates it quite nicely there. But one of the things that I get asked about, and I have done since I've been involved with digital for a few years now, is and the comments that I get, and thank you to all you people that are on the call that have come and bombarded me on the stand at Syngenta at the various different industry events to tell me how the real concern is here is that there's technology emerging that's going to sort of like take away what we do and what we provide, and that's what as pest professionals we should be doing. And I've had this the conversation many times, but I think it's important to understand that this is a tool in the box. This is just another element of what we can do within our industry, and it absolutely is not designed and has never been to replace pest professionals. The idea is that we put a new tool in the hands of the pest professionals to give much more insight into what is happening on the sites of our customers, and then we can respond accordingly, for a much more effective and efficient service delivery. And if we can do that, we can use maximize the technology and innovation into the hands of professionals. That's got to be a much better outcome for our customers, and that ultimately is the aim of what we're all trying to do in the industry. We're trying to reduce pests. We're trying to understand in this case, rodents. We're trying to understand what the behavior of the rodents is. We can understand it better. We can then combat their intrusion into our lives a lot better as well. And so I think it's important to understand you've got to put everything together. It's technology combining with skills, knowledge, and the drive of us as pest professionals for a better outcome. And I think again, this is just trying to highlight for people that are looking for a new career, a career change, this is a genuine opportunity to join, an amazing industry. I think all of us that have been in it for any length of time know what a great industry we're part of. So hopefully that's been of interest. You've seen kind of a little bit of an understanding of where I wanted to go with the theme of the cyber technician, and it's got some meaning for you. I'll be really happy to take any comments and questions. I'm going to stop sharing for now, and thank you for your attention.
Hello, I'm back in the hot seat again. Gary, that was absolutely fantastic. And as you know, conversations have in the past, I am a big advocate of digital technology and moving on. And I absolutely love this idea of Cybertechs. I mean, it's great. It's something we've not really thought of, isn't it? Which is, using the intuitive understanding of technology in the younger generation, actually making it work for us through them. So while we wait for another couple of comments to come in, I would absolutely love you to expand on that a little bit more, because that's a really great idea from my point of view.
Yeah, I think the idea came really, Alex, that when Lauren asked me, would I be interested in doing a presentation, and I just wanted to take a little bit of a different twist on it. And I thought, the idea of the theme of the World Pest Day, and the idea of what the future of it might be, the future of our industry might be, and it's the same with all industries. We're reliant on new talent coming into the industry, and I think it's a shame that in many cases, I'm not saying in all cases, but in many cases, we kind of fall into pest control and say, well, I just couldn't get out of it. And, that's great. And the industry has some amazing, knowledgeable people in it. But, my thought process was, are we missing, is there an element of a generation that we're missing because we, it's the perception is it's not an attractive industry to come into, particularly the service side of it. And I just thought, this is a nice time to say, okay, well, we now have the innovation and this technology in our hands, and it could open up new opportunities. Consider it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a stream we've not considered, and it's a lot of us sit there and think, I'm too long in the tooth to be learning a new system. Well, can't we kill two birds with one stone here? Bring new blood into the industry, as well as that knowledge that they bring with you. We can teach them about pest control, and they can teach us about technology. We can all come out of this very much the winner. So, thank you for that. There are a couple of comments coming in, and I'm going to start with the one from Colin, which is more of a statement than a question, which is, thanks, Gary. Smart is the future. And I think there's a lot of advocates out there for smart technology. So I think you're pushing against an open door in many cases here.
Yeah, I think that's changed, Alex, for the best over the past couple of years. I know when I first started talking about it a few years ago, there was a lot of skepticism about it and concern and worry, and rightly so. But I think now we are more open to it, and we can understand how this can fit in and benefit us internally as an industry, but our customers as well. So I think that's it's interesting that Colin gives that comment that smart is the future, because 5 years ago that wasn't the sort of comment that we would have heard.
Oh no, it's changed dramatically, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And with that, now I'm going to give you some more challenging questions. I don't know if you can see these to preempt, but Valentina has asked, is your technology compatible with ERP systems, specifically pest control or pest management ERPs?
Sorry, Alex, ERPs being...
I'm not entirely sure. Valentina, do you want to just expand on what you mean by the acronym ERP? No, electronic reporting systems. There we go.
Very good.
See,
Okay.
I got it already.
Okay. So yes is the short answer. So I can talk about secure choice specifically. I couldn't talk about other systems, but the secure choice specifically has an API. So we have the ability to interface with online reporting systems. So in short, the answer is yes, it is compatible. and it is used in that way right now.
Lovely stuff. I mean, Ken Thompson's just jumped in behind saying, yes, it is through the use of APIs. So there we go. Done and done. Thank you very both. You know, that was an exercise in collaboration there. I like that, you know, live on air. Jay has asked, can the system differentiate between rodent activity and also from someone accidentally knocking the bait stations instead? As you know, customers don't always look after their stations, so there's always going to be a risk of having to attend call outs for, you know, misread data. And we've all been there, haven't we? You know, the cleaning staff at the end of the day, flipping the boxes on their head with the hoovers and the rest of it. So is your system able to do that?
It can't. There's not a way for the sensor to know specifically what has activated it, but they're designed in such a way, Alex, that it senses in two modes. It can sense vibration, it can sense motion via a PIR. We can adjust the sensitivity of either of those sensing modes as well. So if somebody was to give the box a boot and it sent a real good kick and it sent an alarm to say that it detected vibration, then the answer is no. We'd know that something had created an alarm. But we have this, we have this question quite a lot, and I think yes, one of the challenges I think for any emerging technology is to take what we've got and make it better. Which is what we're doing at Syngenta, and what we've got now will continue to evolve. But we find it to be really, really reliable. So the sensors are designed in a way and manufactured in a way and created to detect small mammals. It's not foolproof, like I say, that particularly in the mode of vibration. A lot of the time, it's used in the mode of motion, which is very reliable, I have to say. But yeah, of course, if you pick the box up and give it a shake and it sends an alert, then yeah, you're going to get an alert that it's detected vibration. So, but we understand this as a challenge, and as a business, we're investigating how we can make that more reliable.
I'd also hazard a guess that if you have box number 1 goes off at 5:31 and box number 2 goes off at 5:32 and box number 3 goes off at 5:33, there is a pattern emerging within that data which says it's probably someone walking the length of that corridor with a hoover knocking the boxes. So yeah, data is all down to how you interpret it at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that we can do, we can learn a lot from the actual specifics of an environment. We got asked because compactors is a really good example of this. Placing a sensor in a bait station or even mounted on a bracket around a compactor, when the compactor starts up automatically, the vibration, that kind of background environmental vibration, does that send a trigger? Well, if we know what time the compactor is due to start up, and it coincides every time with that being a vibration alert, we can kind of then start thinking, well, maybe it's to do with the activity of the machinery or the plant that surrounds it. But like I said, we can adjust the sensitivity of these sensors as well. So if there is background vibration, for example, we can make it so the sensor needs a lot more than just that little bit of background vibration. So it's very adaptable in that respect.
Lovely stuff. Well, Gary, there's a load of other questions coming in, but I'm also mindful of the fact that we are running a little bit into our comfort break right now. So can I ask you to, you can see the questions there. If you wouldn't mind just sort of like typing out some answers, because there is some good ones in there that have come on just as we've been talking afterwards. Yeah. So that would be great. And once again, thank you very much for your talk. It is, as Colin says, it is of the future, and we do need to keep one eye on the future. And everyone, start looking for your Cybertechs. You heard it here first. Cyborgs of the future. I'm not sure that's what you're talking about, but that's how. Gary,
cheers, Alex. Thank you
ever so much.
Thank you, everyone.